Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the drop rate of the new 10-star rarity or the Flugengard weapon series, because over the weekend I ran an ungodly amount of mining rig defense. I actually did 60 runs total, and yeah, I saw 3 of them drop. But before we jump into the rest of the video, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate to subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to get out of the way is the Steam version now has the new anti-cheat implemented. If you want to opt out of the new anti-cheat, make sure to watch yesterday's video near the end. I do show you how to opt out of it. However, I personally have opted in just to see the performance. Personally, I have seen a performance gain. You can see on the top left corner that it says 165, 164 FPS. When I used to play on the GameGuard version uncapped, I would get around 120 to 140 FPS if I'm lucky, and that would be the limit, and I wouldn't be able to get any higher FPS. Now, the reason why I kept my FPS on 60 is because whenever I play above 60 FPS, I see a lot of animation artifacting, and it really bothers me, and I just, that's why I just turn it down to 60. It doesn't really matter to me. This isn't a competitive FPS game, so I don't need all of those frames. Playing it at 60 FPS for me is perfectly fine. However, I just want to point out that I did get a performance gain by using the new anti-cheat, as it does use less resources. However, strangely enough, it only applied to the Steam version. I also don't get that error message anymore that I got on the Epic Game Store whenever I launched the game. So Steam's doing something right, I suppose. However, I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about, does the tweaker work? Does reshade work? Does it work on the Steam Deck? Can I run this game through Linux? And I'm glad to say the answer is pretty much yes to all of the questions. Yes, you can run reshade, gshade, it runs perfectly fine, there's no problem. Yes, you can play this game on your Steam Deck by default, you don't need to jump through any special hoops, it runs perfectly fine. Yes, you can still run the game on Linux even with the new anti-cheat. All of that works. Now, there was a big question that a lot of the tech-savvy people were asking about the X Hunter whatever. We had some smart people dig into that, and it's disabled. So I guess that's good for all of us, right? So it is there, but it's disabled. So I'm sure Sega did discuss this with Welbia, since they've been working on this version of this anti-cheat for over 6 months, basically since February all the way till now. So I do assume that they probably knew that Welbia or Zyncode 3 or whatever you want to call it did have some major issues, and they needed to remedy those, I suppose. But nevertheless, the thing I want to get out of the way is the new anti-cheat is in Steam right now. So if you launch Steam right now, by default, it will implement the new anti-cheat. If you want to opt out, you simply opt out. And as I said in yesterday's video, it's a bootstrap, so you're gonna be fine, okay? But with all of that out of the way, now it is time to talk about the new 10-star rarity weapons, the Flugengard series, and its drop rate. So as you can see here, I did finish the quest title, which required us to do 50 runs of mining rig defense urgent quest on rank 3 or higher, and you do get rewarded 1 End Master Cube. Now, I've done a total of 60 runs, and I saw 3 Flugengard weapons drop within the 60 runs. Now, did it drop for me? Unfortunately not. None of them dropped for me. The first drop was a vanilla wand, so no fix on it. The second drop was a gunblade. Again, no fix on it. That actually dropped for Alex West, which MeCode did buy off Alex West, and they do have a video on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the description below so that you can check out their video, because they do a damage comparison between 9-star rarity weapons as well as the 10-star rarity weapon. So if you just want to see the big numbers and you want to see a damage comparison in video form, there is that. But on top of that, the third one was actually a Fixa 1 daggers that also dropped, and this dropped on Nova's account. And Nova also uploaded a video, so I'll also link their video in the description below so that you can also see the damage comparisons. But nevertheless, out of 60 runs, those were the 3 weapons that I saw drop. Unfortunately, I have yet to see a katana drop on ship 2. I have not seen a katana drop on ship 2, and I do not recommend playing as much as I did over the weekend. Doing 60 runs in the span of 2 to 3 days is not a good idea. I am pretty burnt out of mining rig defense. However, I do want to touch upon a subject where I'm like, I will never do mining rig defense. I don't like mining rig defense. And then they implemented these 10-star weapons, and I was like, all right, I want to do it. I only want to do mining rig defense. So I think myself personally, I'm the type of player that is very loot driven. I think you guys know it pretty obviously, but for me, it wasn't super clear until I saw the 10-star rarity weapons in Mining Rig Defense, and then I was just hell-bent on like, yes, we're gonna run this until I get a weapon. So I'm very loot driven. So even though Mining Rig Defense to me isn't the most fun game mode, but because we ran it so many times and we just got more efficient in each run, like near the end after like 40 runs, each run that we did just got faster and faster. We were super efficient. We were just flying through it. We didn't need to hold a mob in order to collect extra points or anything. We were just beelining and blazing through everything and killing everything incredibly fast. We got to the point that on wave 6, we killed the boss before the mobs finished spawning. Like, you know, the big boss that spawns in his like little Gundam suit and you destroy his Gundam mech and he jumps out. Like, that boss would die before the rest of the mobs spawned. We got that quick, that efficient, that it was just kind of ridiculous on how fast we were blazing through these runs. And because we got super efficient, I guess it got sort of fun, because it was like, oh yeah, it's pretty painless, you know, we're just like, everything just seemed like clockwork. We're just going bang, 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 everything's full autopilot, and we're just blazing through it. And then at the end of the run, we just see what the loot we get. However, as I showed earlier, you know, 60 runs, 3 Flugengard weapon drops. Just keep in mind that, you know, they didn't drop for me, so it's 60 runs for me multiplied by 8 members. So technically it was 3 Flugengard weapons that dropped after 480 runs. So if we take 3 and divide that by 480, you actually get a 0.6% drop rate for this weapon series. Now, of course, this is a super small sample size, but hopefully it gives you guys a rough idea on how rare these weapons are. However, they're still significantly better than the Tisha weapons and the rugged weapons back in the day. Those weapons like really didn't drop. So I'm happy to say that, hey, you know, the drop rate's not great, but it's significantly better than before. 0.6%. Damn, that's pretty low.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.